In the grand theater of Earth's history, few acts are as pivotal as the Silurian. Imagine a world 443 million years ago, where life teems in the oceans but has yet to conquer the land, where jawed fish are just making their debut and strange, scorpion-like creatures rule the seas. Welcome to the Silurian. This journey through time will take us back to the dawn of life on land. We'll uncover the secrets of the first terrestrial arthropods, explore the rise of jawed fish, and witness the birth of ecosystems that paved the way for our world today. So fasten your seatbelts for this incredible adventure because it's going to be one wild ride. Silurian Seas, a realm of jawed fish and marine giants. Let's begin our adventure in the heart of the Silurian Seas. Here, the reign of jawed fish has begun, a pivotal moment in the history of life. But before we dive into this aquatic realm, let's turn our attention to the giants that once ruled the Silurian oceans. Among the most fascinating inhabitants of the Silurian seas were the Eurypterids, commonly known as water scorpions. Don't let the name fool you, though. Despite being called scorpions, these creatures were not actually related to arachnids. Instead, they were a diverse group of marine arthropods that resembled a mix between a scorpion and a dragonfly. The Silurian oceans were also home to the first jawed fish. These primitive fish were a monumental step in the evolution of life on Earth. Their hard, bony jaws gave them an advantage in feeding, allowing them to consume a wider variety of food sources. This, in turn, led to their incredible success, which continues to this day. The first jawed fish were not only diverse but also quite large. Some of them grew up to several meters in length, making them formidable predators in their environment. These ancient fish were the ancestors of the modern sharks, rays, and bony fish that inhabit our oceans today. Their evolutionary leap marked a turning point in the history of life, setting the stage for the aquatic world as we know it. The rise of terrestrial arthropods, stepping out of the water. Now, let's shift our focus from the oceans to the land, where a revolution was about to unfold. As the Silurian Epoch progressed, Earth's continents began to emerge from the deep oceans, creating new landscapes above the waves. And with this change came an extraordinary development. The very first land-dwelling creatures began to appear. These pioneers of terrestrial life were primarily arthropods, the most successful group of animals on the planet today. Among them were creatures resembling modern-day scorpions, spiders, and millipedes. However, it's important to note that these early land animals were not like their modern descendants. They were generally smaller, with many retaining features suited for aquatic life, such as gills to breathe in. Air. These early attempts at life on land were tentative, with many creatures still relying on the nearby water for survival. Yet their presence marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of life, one that would lead to the eventual colonization of the land by larger and more complex animals. One notable example is the family of arthropods known as the Myriapoda. This group includes modern-day millipedes and centipedes. The ancestors of Myriapoda were among the first terrestrial arthropods, and their presence helps us understand the early stages of life on land. Another group that played a key role in the colonization of land was the Chelycerata. This group includes creatures like spiders, scorpions, and mites. The early chelicerates were significant because they were among the first arthropods to develop terrestrial adaptations such as book lungs, which allowed them to breathe air more efficiently. Vascular plants emerge, fueling the rise of terrestrial life. The advent of vascular plants was a landmark development that provided the foundation for life on land. These plants had specialized tissues called xylem and phloem, which allowed them to transport water and nutrients more efficiently. This adaptation enabled them to grow taller and live further away from water sources, reducing their dependence on moist environments. Early vascular plants included small forms like Cooksonia, which is considered to be the earliest known vascular plant. These plants lacked leaves and roots, but they possessed the key adaptation of vascular tissue, which allowed them to grow upright and reproduce on land. Over time, more complex plants evolved, leading to the lush vegetation that eventually covered the Earth. These early plants were crucial in the evolution of terrestrial ecosystems. They provided shelter and food for the first land animals and helped to create stable habitats. As plants continued to evolve and diversify, they transformed the face of the planet, paving the way for the emergence of forests and other complex ecosystems. As we continue our journey through the Silurian, it is essential to understand the significance of these early vascular plants. They were the pioneers of photosynthesis on land, capturing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. This process not only provided food for plants, but also began to change the composition of the atmosphere, increasing the amount of oxygen available for the first land animals. Furthermore, these plants played a vital role in shaping the physical environment. Their root systems helped to prevent soil erosion and create a more hospitable habitat for other organisms. As the plants grew and spread, they created niches for insects, small reptiles, and eventually larger animals, contributing to the diversification and complexity of terrestrial life. The birth of ecosystems, a new chapter in Earth's history. With the arrival of the first land animals and vascular plants, a new chapter in Earth's history began. The stage was set for the birth of terrestrial ecosystems, self-sustaining communities of interacting organisms. These ecosystems were dynamic and ever-evolving, shaped by the interactions between plants, animals, and their environment. The plants provided food and shelter, while the animals played roles as predators, scavengers, and decomposers. Together, they formed a web of life that sustained itself. The Silurian also witnessed significant changes in the atmosphere and climate. The increased amount of oxygen released by plants had profound implications for life on land. It allowed for the evolution of more complex animals with higher metabolic needs, such as the first tetrapods, ancestors of amphibians. Moreover, the climate during the Silurian was relatively stable, providing a favorable environment for the flourishing of life. This stability allowed ecosystems to develop and thrive, fostering the evolution of new species and the expansion of life into various habitats. So, as we reach the end of our journey through the Silurian, consider the profound implications of what we have uncovered. The Silurian was a period of immense transformation. It marked the beginning of life on land, the diversification of marine life, and the evolution of plants capable of thriving on land. It was a time when Earth's continents took shape and stable ecosystems emerged. From the mighty eurypterids to the pioneering vascular plants, the Silurian was a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life. The creatures that lived during this time were the pioneers that set the stage for all life that followed. Their legacy lives on in the ecosystems that shape our world today. And so our journey through the Silurian comes to an end. But our exploration of Earth's history has just begun. There are many more chapters to uncover, each filled with amazing discoveries and revelations. Join me in the next episode as we continue to unravel the mysteries of our planet's past and discover the wonders that await us in the depths of time. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the Silurian. If you enjoyed this adventure through time, don't forget to show your support. Your engagement fuels our journey, allowing us to keep exploring the fascinating history of our planet. So hit that like button, share this adventure with fellow time travelers, and leave a comment below with your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Together, let's keep the journey through time alive and continue to unearth the incredible stories that have shaped our world.